Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree, and I don't know how it did it.
Okay.
Revisiting the Myakka Skunk Ape photos. This is a Squatch Mafia documentary. At first, a big thanks for 5,000 subscribers. Keep it squatchy. Check out Squatch Mafia at Patreon for extra content. More is coming soon. In this video, we are taking a look at the famous skunk ape photos from Myakka, Florida. The photos were allegedly taken by an elderly woman in Sarasota, Florida in 2000. On December 22nd of 2000, the Sarasota Sheriff's Department received an anonymous letter containing 2 photos depicting a large and hairy, ape-like creature. The author of the letter claimed to be an elderly woman who reported the creature had been stealing apples from her back porch near Interstate 75, and upon surprising it with a camera, she was afraid it was an escaped orangutan that might harm her family. The scrutinized photos were dubbed the Myakka Skunk Ape photos. The author of the letter also mentioned that the alleged orangutan made deep whoomp noises, and that it had an awful smell that lasted for a while in the backyard. The author stated that the photos were originally shot in late September or early October of 2000. Legend has it that the letter and the photos were passed around in the sheriff's department for a few weeks before a member of the Animal Control Division handed them to Florida Bigfoot researcher and cryptozoologist Loren Coleman, who was the first to properly scan and reproduce the photographs in high quality. Coleman and a fellow researcher named David Barkassi tried to locate the place where the photos were recorded, but were never able to find out who shot or developed the photos. This map shows the possible location according to Coleman and Barkassi. Contemporary descriptions of the skunk ape in Florida and other southern states' folklore have occurred since European settlers first occupied the region. In 1818, local newspapers reported a story from what is now Apalachicola, Florida, that spoke of a man-sized monkey raiding food stores and stalking fishermen along the shore. The Seminole and Miccosukee culture includes stories of a foul-smelling, physically powerful, and secretive creature called Esti Kabkaki, a name which roughly translates to furry tall man or hairy giant. Other notable documented encounters by Europeans come from 1929 and 1942 and continue throughout the 70s, 90s, and 2000s. Sightings continue to the present day, with 48 out of 67 counties in Florida reporting sightings since 2010. Sarasota, where the photos allegedly were shot, lies next to Myakka River State Park and Lettuce Lake Park, from where many skunk ape encounters have been reported. See the links in the video description below for encounter videos from Myakka River State Park and Lettuce Lake Park. The Myakka Skunk Ape photos, despite the fact that they are known to the public for 23 years, never have been debunked as a hoax. So, at first let's look at the argument the author of the original letter made. The photos show an orangutan. Of course, there is somehow the possibility that an extreme, unusual, old, and run-down orangutan that also had the wrong fur color for orangutans had escaped a zoo in Florida. But there is no reported escape of an orangutan or other apes from a zoo in Florida. Even more problematic is a different question. If this is an orangutan, why does it have eyeshine? Orangutans, as all apes and humans, don't have eyeshine. So what about the second logical option for a hoax? Is it possible that the Myakka Skunk Ape photos show some sort of costume? Let's take a more detailed look at the photos to answer this question. At first, let's look at the change of facial expression the creature shows between the two photos. The facial expressions clearly show the change from surprised and perplexed expressions to fearful or aggressive emotions in the second photo. The way the creature seems to move between the photos and the way its facial expression changes clearly indicates a living and moving creature, not a puppet nor a dummy. So could this be a man in a costume? Let's take a detailed look at the mouth, arms, muscles, and what appears to be a foot of the creature. When we look at a zoomed-in version of the face, we can clearly see the details of the mouth. We can see black lips, the pink inside of the mouth, and 2 lines of teeth, with what seems to be fangs. Also in the second picture, we can still clearly make out the lips of the creature and its fangs. These details should be extremely hard to fake, especially when this is considered to be a suit worn by a person. Such a detailed portrait of the inside of the mouth should be nearly impossible to fake if this is a man in a costume. Next, let us take a look at the arms and the muscles of the creature. Of course, the sheer length of the arm is already astonishing, but let's focus on a different detail of the arms. In the first picture, in which the creature seems to be surprised and perplexed by the flashlight of the camera, we can see the creature hunched over, its arm just hanging to the ground. We can see some muscle definition, but the arm seems to be rather slim. Then, in the second picture, as the creature is pushing itself up from the ground in a more upward position, we can clearly see how the biceps muscle of the creature enlarges. The entire arm seems to flex the muscles. The difference of the muscle movement in the 2 pictures is remarkable. In the second picture, we can clearly see how bulked and massive the creature is. Its biceps muscle is extreme. Also, the shoulders seem to be very muscular. This details, especially how the muscles move and change between the 2 photos, are also nearly impossible to fake when you consider this to be a suit worn by a person. As in the Patterson-Gimlin footage, for example, the only way to fake this details is to glue hair on the living and moving body of a person with the same body frame and physique as the creature. Other features like the length of the arm, the way the creature is built, and its overall appearance rule out this possibility. The movement and the flexing of the muscles remain astonishing details in the Myakka Skunk Ape photos. At last, let's take a look at what seems to be a foot or maybe a hand of the creature. In some harder-to-find versions of the photos, we can see what appears to be a foot or a hand. When we scroll down to the bottom of the photos, we see that the lower end of the picture shows one more detail than the most versions of the photo. Under the leaves of the bush the creature is using as cover, we can clearly see a foot. We can see 3 or 4 toes on the foot. We even can see the toenails of the creature. The foot appears to look ape-like and very realistic. Again, here is the knee of the creature. That is sitting in a hunched position. This here is the lower part of its leg, and here is the foot. That also means the creature is extremely tall and huge if it stands up erected. The author of the original letter estimated the size of the creature from 6.5 to 7 feet tall in a kneeling position, which sounds pretty wild. But a height of 7.5 feet for the erected creature seems to be realistic. In the second picture, we can still see 2 of the toes of the foot, while the creature is about to stand up and pushes itself up from the ground. In this picture, we also can see the toenails clearly. Again, these are astonishing details if you consider this to be a costume of some sort. All of this, the many realistic details, the The size of the creature, the length of its arms, its alleged behavior, the eye shine of the creature, and other things are typical features of many documented Bigfoot encounter stories. Of course, we could still look at a very sophisticated type of costume or artificial dummy that is able to show muscle and facial movements. But again, we have to ask how realistic is such a level of costume design that could show these effects in photos and videos that are barely known and whose sources mostly prefer to stay anonymous. So, decide for yourself. What are we looking at in the Myakka Skunk Ape photos? Is it a puppet or a dummy? Is it a person in a costume? Or is it probably something else? What's your opinion on the photos? Let me know in the comment section. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed this video on the Myakka Skunk Ape photos. Subscribe to the Squatch Mafia channel at YouTube for more videos on Bigfoot and Sasquatch. Check out Squatch Mafia at Patreon and TikTok for extra content. Thank you for watching.